Hi everybody, it is Beardless Doc here, joining you for a short video talking about Amazing Spider-Man number 36. Alright, so the last video that I tried to make on this didn't turn out so well, so we're going to redo this. This is Amazing Spider-Man 36, which came out not too long after 9/11, back in 2001, and it's written by J. Michael Straczynski, with art by John Romita Jr., and inking by Scott Hanna. Starts out with this black cover and opens up and says, "We interrupt our regularly scheduled program to bring you the following special bulletin," just like it would on the news. And then it opens to this massive 2-page spread of Spider-Man watching the Twin Towers collapse. And seeing something like this just brings out the feelings that the Spider and the Man are equally important. You can't have one without the other, and with Spider-Man's cast of characters, it always reiterates how important the Man in the Spider-Man books is. Spider-Man would not be as nearly an interesting character if Peter Parker were not such a colorful, inviting presence in the books. And to see something this damaging and this scary happen in a comic book just reflects that Marvel, like it said years ago, is the world outside our windows. So as he drops from the sky down to the ground, then there was a couple, and they say, "Where were you? How could you let this happen?" And the only response he can come up with is, "We couldn't imagine this happening." So as he stands in the rubble of this building, one of the Twin Towers, he simply says, "The sane world will always be vulnerable to madmen because we cannot go where they go to conceive of such things." So what he's saying is that those who are sane can't think of these things. They're unspeakable. They're unthinkable. You would never think to harm people on such a level. So if you can't think about that, then how can you go there and how can you stop that? How can you preemptively keep that strike from happening if you would never ever think of it at all? It's kind of like green M&Ms. If you had never seen a green M&M and your favorite color was not green, you really wouldn't miss it, now would you? On the other hand, if you think those ways, then it is imaginable to you. But in the world of superheroes, they don't see things that way. They don't see things that darkly. So you see both superheroes and regular people working beside each other to clear this rubble, to save lives, to do what they can to mitigate the damage that was caused by this terrible act. And here, in one of my favorite panels, you see Wolverine helping out alongside these firefighters and police. And here you see Spidey helping out as well, along with Cyclops. But just because Spider-Man is in his red and blue tights does not make him any less of a everyman or everyday Joe. That's the thing that's always interested a lot of people about Spider-Man, is anybody could put on that costume and they can relate to Spider-Man. They can relate to him losing, now the loss of his relationship with Mary Jane. But beforehand, the loss of Gwen Stacy, the loss of Gwen Stacy's father. All of these things, the ups and downs with Harry Osborn. All of these things are very relatable to everybody. They've lost friends. They've had people turn on them. And so it's always made Spider-Man one of the most relatable characters in comics, in my opinion. Now, this image here got a lot of flack when it first came out because it was Dr. Doom crying over the loss of life. But you have to remember that in their story, Dr. Doom, Kingpin, Magneto, all the villains of the Marvel Universe often see themselves as the heroes. And so innocent lives lost, more so for the Kingpin, would be considered collateral damage, but if it didn't fit in with his world scheme and what he was trying to work on, then it would affect Wilson Fisk. It would affect Magneto. Magneto had been through the Holocaust. He had seen the damage that men can do when they seek power unmitigated. And we see what happens when that destruction is wanton and it just comes out of left field. You see the fire truck. You see the firemen exhausted. And at the bottom you see Ladder 21 honoring their fallen comrades. Here you see people banding together of different nationalities, skin tones, colors, ages, ability, all helping one another because that's what we are supposed to do. That's what life is about. And at the very bottom, then you see a bunch of guys that are trying to band together and are going to take down the plane before it can hit the Pentagon. Here you see the fundamentalist radicals on the left, like the Jerry Falwells and things like that. And then you see the Muslim radicals on the right side of the page. And both of them are claiming that America brought this upon itself because of how secular we have become and how we have turned away from what their idea of God is. And I mean, the Muslim leader, it's God's will that America should fall through their iniquity and their sin. And the fundamentalist Christian, probably what we deserve, all of them who have tried to secularize America, the pagans, the abortionists, the feminists. So a lot of blame was placed, or tried to place, in the days following 9/11, with each side blaming the other, and then turning it all on America, saying that it was all our fault, and that everything that we got is what we deserved. Well, what about kids? What about this little boy here? And he's sitting there and he's waiting for his dad, and he says, if I wait and I stay and I don't leave, he'll be fine. I'll do what he told me and he'll be fine. And his father was a firefighter who went back inside and was trying to save other people's lives. And then Spider-Man has to cradle this young boy as he lost his father in the collapse into the towers and the subsequent fires. And all Spider-Man can say is there are no words in this moment. But he still fights alongside his other superheroes, and he stays with those who are in peril and who have been injured. And he keeps fighting the good fight because that's what he's supposed to do, and that's where he belongs. That's where he feels like he needs to be and where he can do the best work. Of course, Captain America has seen destruction on this level before, but to see it in his own country, you can see his fist shaking down towards the bottom. It's just unimaginable, his rage and his anger towards this. Not towards anyone, but towards the ones who perpetrated this act. Down towards the bottom it says, we live in the quiet turning of your considered conscience, the voice that says all wars have innocence, and the voice that says you are a kind and merciful people. And at the very bottom, it says, do not let that knowledge be washed away in blood. So just because things get bad, things get terrible, don't lose that patience and that kindness and that gentleness that we all show. Whether it be only in moments or whether it be our nature to show that kindness and that love and that support towards others. Don't lose that just because of the bitterness of the world. And here at the end it shows firemen, EMTs, policemen, superheroes, all banded together, all of different colors, nationalities, ages, and abilities. And it says to stand tall. It shouldn't just be for America. It should be for every country. Every country should have that national pride. Every country should say, you know what? We created this medicine that cured this disease. We created all of these things that are positive. There should always be a nationalism. No matter how terrible the country is, you should love the people of your country, no matter whether you love the government or not. So just keep that in mind as you go through your day. I hope you enjoyed reading along this comic book with me, and I hope that you will post down in the comments whether you've read it, whether you like this video, what you enjoyed about the video, and if there's any books that you think that resonated with you in a similar vein as what I've been talking about with this one, please let me know, and I'll go check them out. Thanks, and I hope to see you in the next video.